There Must Be Something in the Water was the show that we produced for the end-of-year presentation of a seminar class in the Faculty of Creative and Critical Studies at UBCO. It was presented in the Fine Arts Gallery here on campus.
There Must Be Something in the Water, from my perspective, is about our own individual impact on a greater ecosystem.
The question of what the piece is about is an interesting one because there's always this tricky distinction between what the artist intends and what is perceivable by people who come in without knowing what the artist intended.
When we started conceptualizing There Must Be Something in the Water, it was about a vending machine relationship. It was about giving something and getting something as an exchange. And I think throughout the project that really evolved.
The overall inspiration for the piece was technology and our relationship to it. And from that it spawned to our relationship to nature.
If you have lots of creative and smart people, you have more rich material to exchange and work with. And because the class is it was a seminar studio style, it was really important to have more than just 3 people. So we ended up with 8 exceptionally talented students, and that created a very interesting dynamic in the class. There was another added element that was also very special, is that we were able to have a visiting artist, Kenneth Newby, join us in the class, and he brought a very special perspective, given his background in interactive media design, gaming, and music composition and animation.
David and I were engaged in putting together a very important aspect of the show, which was how the whole system fit together and operated, because we hadn't actually prototyped that beforehand.
So I guess the first thing that happens when you come into the exhibition, you see sort of directly in front of you is this pond, and then if you turn off to your left, then you see this TV hanging down above this plinth. And so if you approach the TV, then all of a sudden Hanss starts to talk to you, and you see his lips going on the TV.
Spit in the cup.
Did he just tell me to spit in the cup?
It's saying spit in the cup.
This prompted a lot of very controversial reactions from certain people. Some people were offended at the idea of giving up their bodily fluids in an art gallery.
It was something that is free to give. No one will miss it after it's gone. It's personal, but it's not so personal that it's inappropriate for a public atmosphere.
And other people were all too willing and just went right for it. But I think that was a really interesting interaction, was people's apprehension with that request of giving up their saliva. But David, Kadish, and I collaborated on a couple Arduino-powered machine mechanisms that actually took the cup, the spit cup, and senses it and puts it, a prop cup, through a conveyor belt. And at that entry point, the viewer is tricked into thinking that their spit is being taken from a physical plane into a digital plane.
The conveyor belt I like because it fools people. Most of the people who were partaking in the project actually thought it was the cup that they had put in that was on the conveyor belt.
Friends that were close to me, for instance, would say, what happened to my cup? And I was like, oh, excellent, something was really successful there.
My role on this project was designing visual elements and making animations with Tim. And I was inspired by an artwork, Mechanical Discursives by Fred Pennell. And after I tried to build a kind of flexible visual elements so that people can modify or make their own artistic layers on top of that.
I think one of my animations that I was happiest with was an image of an eyeball. And there was an eyeball behind an eyelid, and it would shoot back and forth following the motion of some tongs that were on their way to open the eyelid. So it's kind of like watching the tongs as a creature in communication with this eyeball and its reaction to feeling opened or preyed upon. Another one was this animation of a male figure standing, and it was bleeding. And you're watching the head shift from different positions. I think that one was rather successful too.
Those animations travel across the whole wall, and it ends off in this bubble machine that gets kicked on, and you sort of get your spit back as these magical little bubbles. And from there, if you sort of walk into and over the pond, you see this woman appear, and you get to see ripples in the pond as you move with it.
Technology has this this ability to seduce us and suspend our disbelief around whatever it is that it's presenting a lot of the time, and then we recognize ourselves in it, and we recognize that there's a place to be critical. And in the same way, we have a similar response to nature, and because there's something very mysterious about it. There's something we don't really understand about what our relationship is in nature. As much as we are a part of it, it is apart from us.
There were several computers involved because each wall had its own computer system, display system, which was running software which needed to be triggered to play animations at a specific time. So there was a kind of broadcasting system and network. The machines were all networked together, and the physical interaction system, which was the little cup that was dropped into its machine, was a trigger to say, it's started now. Get ready to play your animations or your sounds at the appropriate time. And so then the whole thing played as a unified ensemble, kind of like an ensemble of musicians being conducted by an orchestral conductor.
I took IGS 530 to integrate my technological background with my fine art study. It's something I haven't done before. My artistic development has always been separate from my interest in computers and technology, and so I thought this was the perfect course to further investigate that.
It seemed like a really neat opportunity to push myself and open myself to avenues of education that I hadn't explored yet.
One of the nicest things that I enjoyed about the class was the seminar structure, where students were presenting their own ideas. They contextualized their own ideas in terms of the artistic inspirations they had, And that was very valuable because that, I feel, it cross-pollinated and inspired everybody in the group to work together. And it's interesting because the presentation actually acted as a catalyst for fruitful collaboration, because this class was not about writing a paper so much as it was about producing artistic practice, but using that standard seminar strategy, which is bring your own philosophical and theoretical ideas to the table and present the artwork that you engage with and contextualize your own artwork to actually produce the artistic work and not write a paper. I think that was the difference. It's the end result. But I think that process really worked well in the studio context.
You know, if we want to shift our paradigm of, thinking about art, we have to get as many different artists involved as possible. Otherwise, you're just looking at one person's lens. And I think that this project was great because it was, 10 people's lenses, overlapped. And so I felt like no matter who people were that came into that show, old, young, children, students, curators, everyone took something away.